The crowded Saturday market buzzed with life as shoppers hurried between colorful stalls overflowing with fresh fruit, handmade crafts, and fragrant flowers. Among them walked Emily Carter, 8 months pregnant, wearing a simple blue maternity dress and carrying 2 reusable grocery bags. Despite her growing belly and tired feet, she smiled warmly at every vendor who greeted her. She preferred living simply, even though she secretly controlled one of the largest private investment firms in the country. Years earlier, she had inherited her late father's business empire but chose to keep her identity hidden, believing that true character was revealed only when money was absent. Even her husband, Ryan Mitchell, believed she was an ordinary freelance designer with modest savings. Emily had quietly invested millions into Ryan's struggling technology company through anonymous investment funds because she wanted him to succeed through his own hard work rather than because of her wealth. Subscribe to my channel. Ryan had once been kind and humble, but as his company attracted media attention and wealthy clients, success slowly changed him. He became obsessed with status, expensive suits, luxury cars, and influential friends. That afternoon, he arrived at the same market with 2 business partners after a meeting nearby. Dressed in a tailored black suit, Ryan noticed Emily standing in line at a vegetable stall. Instead of feeling proud to see his pregnant wife preparing dinner, he frowned. His partners glanced toward her, and Ryan suddenly worried that they would think less of him if they saw his wife shopping in a crowded public market. Emily's face brightened. "Ryan, I wasn't expecting you. I thought maybe we could have your favorite soup tonight." Instead of smiling, Ryan sighed loudly. "Emily, couldn't you shop somewhere more respectable? Do you have any idea how this looks? I'm trying to build relationships with important investors." The surrounding shoppers fell silent. Emily blinked in disbelief. "It's just a market, Ryan. There's nothing wrong with buying fresh vegetables." Ryan laughed coldly. "You never understand. You embarrass me. Look at yourself. You're dressed like someone who can't afford decent clothes." His words struck harder than anyone realized. Emily instinctively placed one hand over her baby bump. One elderly vendor stepped forward. "Young man, your wife deserves respect, especially carrying your child." Ryan rolled his eyes. "Stay out of my business." Without another glance at Emily, he walked away with his partners, who exchanged uncomfortable looks. Emily stood frozen as tears rolled silently down her cheeks. She thanked the concerned vendors, finished paying for her groceries, and quietly left. That evening, Ryan returned home expecting dinner. Instead, he found the dining table empty. Emily sat on the balcony watching the sunset. "I suppose you're still upset," Ryan muttered. She looked at him calmly. "Ryan, do you remember what you promised me when we married?" He shrugged. "You said no amount of success would ever make you forget kindness." Ryan looked away. "People change." Emily nodded sadly. "Yes, they do." The next Monday, Ryan entered his company's headquarters expecting the biggest day of his career. His board had scheduled a meeting with the anonymous investment group that owned 62% of the company's shares. Whoever represented that investor would determine whether Ryan remained CEO. Everyone whispered excitedly as the boardroom doors opened. Ryan straightened his tie. His confident smile disappeared instantly. Emily walked into the room wearing an elegant cream-colored business suit. Behind her followed lawyers, financial analysts, and senior executives from Carter Global Investments. Every board member stood respectfully. The chairman smiled. "Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce Ms. Emily Carter, founder and chairwoman of Carter Global Investments, the principal investor behind our company." Ryan stared speechless. His voice barely escaped. "Emily." She met his eyes with quiet dignity. "Good morning, Mr. Mitchell." One executive displayed financial reports on the large screen. "For the past 3 years, He explained, Ms. Carter personally authorized every funding round that kept Mitchell Technologies alive. Ryan slowly sat down. No. He whispered. Emily continued calmly. When your first prototype failed, we invested another $10 million. Ryan remembered. When your factory burned down, we covered every rebuilding expense. His breathing became heavier. When your largest client canceled, we prevented bankruptcy. Every memory suddenly made sense. Ryan looked at Emily with overwhelming shame. You saved everything. She answered softly, not because I wanted recognition. Because I believed in you. Silence filled the room. Then Emily opened a folder. Unfortunately, she continued, investment is not only about numbers. It is about leadership. She pressed a button. Security footage from the market appeared on the screen. Ryan's face turned pale. Every cruel word echoed through the boardroom. The directors watched in stunned silence. When the video ended, the chairman folded his hands. A man who humiliates his pregnant wife in public cannot be trusted to lead thousands of employees. Ryan felt the weight of every eye in the room. He stood and faced Emily. I'm sorry. She looked at him quietly. Are you sorry because you hurt me, or because you finally know who I am? Ryan couldn't answer. Tears filled his eyes. I forgot who I was becoming. Emily gently rested a hand on her stomach. Our child deserves a father whose greatest achievement isn't wealth, but character. The board voted unanimously to remove Ryan as CEO, replacing him with an experienced executive while offering Ryan the opportunity to remain only if he completed leadership training and rebuilt the trust he had lost. Months passed. Ryan accepted the consequences without complaint. He volunteered at community programs, apologized personally to the market vendors, and spent every evening supporting Emily through the final weeks of her pregnancy. He stopped chasing appearances and began valuing people instead. When their daughter, Lily, was born, Ryan held her tiny hand and cried openly. Emily watched quietly. I've spent my whole life investing in companies, she said. Ryan looked at her. But the hardest investment is believing someone can change. He nodded. I won't waste that investment again. Years later, Mitchell Technologies became one of the country's most respected companies, not because it earned the highest profits, but because it became known for treating every employee with dignity and respect. Ryan often visited the same neighborhood market with Emily and little Lily. He greeted every vendor by name, carried the grocery bags himself, and never forgot the day pride almost cost him everything. Whenever young entrepreneurs asked Ryan the secret behind his success, he smiled and answered, never judge someone's worth by their appearance. The person you ignored today may be the one who believed in you when no one else did, and kindness is always the greatest investment.